Good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, greetings from ROMchip. We are thrilled to have you here. Hey everybody in the chat, welcome to our third annual ROMchip Twitch charity fundraiser. We are psyched to have you here for 12 non-stop hours of back-to-back streams to raise money for the only game history journal in the world, ROMchip, a journal of game histories. So I'm Laine Nooney. I am a historian of computers and video games at New York University, which is where I'm streaming to you from today. And I'm also one of the co-founders of ROMchip, a journal of game histories, and I'm its managing editor. I shepherd that journal alongside my collaborators, Henry Lowood, David Parisi, Soraya Murray, and Logan Brown. Say hey if you're in the chat. And so what are we all gathered here for today? Today's event is to fundraise the annual budget for ROMchip, which you can find. If you want to see the journal, you can go to romchip.org. And in case you're new to our mission, right, you've clicked a link in a Discord and you're like, where the hell am I? Who are these people? What ROMchip is, we describe it as an open access, hybrid audience online venue for the publication of game history. We've been around since 2017. And so what that means is that first we develop, solicit, edit, and publish work across a range of formats, from traditional peer-reviewed academic articles to interviews, oral histories, object lessons, translations, and we deal with everything from digital video games to board games, analog games, sports, and play. Second, as an open access journal, we have no paywall, no advertising, no logins, no predatory publishing model. You don't ever have to pay anything to read the research published in ROMchip. And lastly, we consider ourselves hybrid audience, which means we're trying to create a big tent around game history. Lots of people care about this mission, and we believe that you shouldn't need a PhD to be able to write for or interview for or read ROMchip. Which explains why we are a scholarly journal doing a Twitch stream. That is, we might be the only one. We know how many people who make games and play games care about game history. And so we want to find folks where they are. We want to talk to you about the mission of this journal, show you a good time, and hopefully together make a better future for game history. And so I could sit here all day long and talk about the history of the journal, its ethos, what we're going to do with this money. We will get there, but I think it's a little more interesting if we bring in one of my friends and get me into and we can have a conversation to share with you what's up with this mission. So we should be bringing in, here he is. So Jason Scott here, the man, the myth, the legend, the top hat, drum roll. He will be our first streamer. Jason Scott identifies as a free-range archivist working at the Internet Archive, former celebrity cat dad, former sysadmin, expert troller, and shit poster. And he is perhaps most importantly my internet father, aka the only man on the internet I allow to have a paternalistic relationship with me. He has also become the de facto opener and closer for this fundraiser because he is so damn charming and insufferable. So, Jason, how's it going over there? Where are you coming to us from?
I am coming to you officially from the deepest, darkest, multicolored office, also known as Scan Crusher Mountain, which is where I do thousands of scans and thousands of little digitizations and make them available to people. And I love it here. And you have visited, and others have visited. I am, of course, also on the stream. And, all dads disappoint. But until that day, I can be something positive for you and support you in this incredible thing you always do every year. I think for people who do not know this, I'm sure some portion of the folks are here out of curiosity and aren't some of the regulars that have come. One of the really nice things about how ROMchip is set up is the fact that instead of you seeing a little banner at the bottom of everything and a constant click here to go further situation to try to raise money, just get it over with in the shortest month of the entire year, shortest fundraiser you could imagine, 1 day of fundraising, and then here we are. And I'm here for 1 hour, and I'm here to educate, entertain, be whatever, and I am as always, Laine, at your service. I'll bet the people are wondering how'd it go last year? Because some of you are new and some of you may not remember because it's once a year. So what did we do 365 days ago and achieve?
365 days ago, we got to, so yeah, this is our third fundraiser, and we got to somewhere, I think about 9.2K, which was like definitely made us happy. The way that we do the tiering structure for the fundraiser is that tier 1, and you can see it kind of listed down below in the little adorable ticker that we got made this year. Tier 1 is $7,000. That's basically the keep the lights on budget for the journal. It's like we can pay all our bills, we can put a little money in savings for inevitable emergencies, and that's sort of our cap. From there, we go to tier 2, which is 8.5 thousand. And so that will cover expenses like being able to continue hosting Twitch research talks for, on Twitch on this channel where we share public scholarship through live streaming, and then also being able to pay, kind of refill a freelancer fund we have where we can pay journalists and things like that to be able to write for us, right? Because they can't be expected to write for free. And then our top tier is 10,000. So our past 2 years, we've been able to get, I think year 1, it was 9.5K. Last year, it was 9.2, but we've never quite broken the 10K barrier. We're really excited about where we are right now at 3,700 and some change. We're like 54% of the way to tier 1 already. And rumor has it, if we make it to 10K, I will get a pie in the face. So that's the current plan. But yeah, we were able to, we exceeded our expectations again, and we're hoping to be able to do it again this year.
Well, that sounds great. What did you do last year, by the way? I mean, sure, you earned some money. Sure, we have been getting these different little tiers and everything else. But what did you do with that money?
What did we do with that money? So first, we kept the journal running, and we got all of our bills paid, which is no small feat, We hired a new web developer. This lovely guy, Jeff. He's built new tools to streamline our publishing process. He's actually managed to reduce the amount of time it takes for us to get articles published by about 50 to 75%. We hosted 5 new talks on everything from the history of American Girl dolls to kind of the history of like bounce sports and play to the philosophy of Assassin's Creed. All of those are on our YouTube channel. We can put a link in the chat for that. One of the most tangible contributions is we were able to pay for these 2 new freelance pieces in our July 2025 issue. So these were both one was a translation of a doujinshi by Hiromasa Iwazaki. It was called Legend Number 7, Why Do 2D Games Always Go to the Right? We commissioned that translation, and we paid the translators for it. And that is like original work that could never happen in any other venue except one where we can like find people to do this work and pay them for their labor. And we were also able to publish an amazing piece on the history of kind of video games in post-dictatorship Brazil, written by Enrique Sampio. He is also a kind of journalist, freelancer, podcaster, and this is work he would never be able to do or publish if we were not able to receive financial support. So I think those kinds of things are really where I think our mission is most crystallized. And so we've also got more stuff in the pipe. We've got, we can't, it's a little too early to name names, but we should have some stuff, some really freelance work coming out on the Sega channel and on early artillery mainframe games. Fingers crossed for that. And just to underscore how much of the money that we raise goes back into the community, we did our 2025 audit, and it showed that 90% of our money goes to paying freelancers. So it goes to our copy editor, our writers, our web developer, our tech specialists. That might be the highest ROI of like any operating kind of nonprofit right out there. And we continue to be able to support our presence on YouTube and Discord. So that is what we've been up to with all of those funds we raised last year.
Excellent. I know we want to highlight some of the early donators, and I was just jumping out ahead of that to say, if you want to, I could do a reading of the names.
Ooh,
I could do that as a little gift. And, I want to apologize ahead of time because it's a kind of impulsive idea. So obviously when people donated and they were generous, we want to thank you, but also we didn't have you write down the pronunciation of your name. So you may have just paid not just for a journal, but to hear your name pronounced wrong, which is not, necessarily the bonus you want. Well, let's do this. Let's thank the folks. So I'm going to read up some names off a list of people who have donated. in the best announcer voice that I can do. How's this? Is this good? Are we good? Are we getting good? Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
Excellent. Kendra Albert, 3 times streak. Matt Clausen, Kevin Doyle, Maxwell Foxman, 3 times streak. Gordon Freshland, 3x streak. Curtis Fry, 3 times streak. Jess Geiger, David Guida, Drew Harry, Bear Hebert, Steve Heron, Matt Knudsen. Let's get a cough in there. Mason Krotz, Lane D. Cowan, Local Number 12, Kathlena Martin, Lillian McIntyre, Andrew Malloy, miss you Andy, Moon, Ryan P., Chris Persad, 3 times streak, Liz Petrick, Raul Priscario, Yulia Q, Lucas Rizzoli, Jack Sammons, Mark Schmalz, Jimmy Shannon, Heather Oldfield Skinson, Daniel G. Stevens, Stephen Tomlinson, Joey Wowzonic, Cody Wilson, Carlin Wing, Gregory Wong, Jose Zagal, Matt Zucker. And then, for the folks who just want to donate and not get the glory, comes Anonymous Apple, Anonymous Blueberry, Anonymous Cantaloupe, Anonymous Cherry, Anonymous Jackfruit, Anonymous Kiwi, Anonymous Nectarine, Anonymous Peach, and Anonymous Tangerine. Along with the sponsors, MIT Press and University of Chicago Press, who are providing us with gifts to provide during this stream. They are in many ways donators just like anyone else. That doesn't mean you miss a chance. If you donate and you mention in some way you want your name read to me in some way, we will do that. So please donate to ROMchip.
Amazing, Jason. And can I add just a little bit extra onto that reading? So that was a beautiful reading provided by Jason Scott for our early donors. But we also want to take a moment to thank our early donor patrons. So patron status is a kind of, it's for our highest level of donors, right? These are folks who really help get the momentum going on the stream, on the fundraiser, right? They give us big lifts, and we couldn't do this without them. And so first, for our patrons, we want to shout out Nolan Filter, who has hit their 3x streak this year for 3 consecutive years of patron level donations. And then Carly Kasarik and Jeff Peterson. You are both as patrons as well. You have our endless thanks and appreciation. You will be getting some very special little treats and surprises in the mail. Patron status means a lot to us, and we call them patrons because we want to think of what we're doing here as a form of cultural heritage and give people a way to commit to building a creative and intellectual ecosystem without that. I also think there was, let's see. A few things also that we haven't mentioned yet. I'll give this over to you in a moment, Jason, but every hour we are basically anyone who donates $20 or more will be automatically entered into a raffle for a prize. And so some of those prizes will be books by MIT Press or U of Chicago. Some of them will be prizes that are kind of unique to the person who is streaming. But for this hour, for Jason's hour, what we've got are 2 books donated to us by the University of Chicago Press. This is part of a new series they're doing called Replay. Think of it as like 33 1/3 meets boss fight books. That's sort of the vibe. So we've got this book on Undertale, Can a Game Give Hope by Anastasia Salter, and Animal Crossing, New Horizons, Can a Game Take Care of Us by Noah Wardrop Fruin. A $20 donation gets you in a raffle for both of these books, 2 for the price of 1 donation. So with that, yeah, get to donating if you feel so inclined, if you're excited about this. And at this stage, I'm excited to say, let me refresh my we're at 56%. We're almost to 4K. Amazing work, everybody. And yeah, Jason, do you want to take it away? Is there anything else we need to do here?
I think you covered all the major business for all the people. People who are up now, you are either up at either 11, or 8 a.m. in the United States, or you're just enjoying your Saturday afternoon with us. And this goes on for a while. And I do want to say, for the people who haven't checked the schedule yet, I will be back at the end of this to close this out.
Let
so
me.
we'll cover that at the end. We'll summarize.
Okay.
But for now,
this is 12 hours and it's not all Jason. So
No.
every hour, someone new's coming on. I just dropped the schedule in the chat. You can see what's coming up. We've got Marie Fulston, Whit Powell, Mike Rugnetta are the ones kind of in the next few hours. But so yeah, take a look and hang out, enjoy us, put us on as a little ambient entertainment, and I'll see you shortly. Jason, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Hi. So again, you're on the ROMchip Journal Twitch, the incredible and wonderful fundraising situation we have here. And I am extremely happy that everybody is in place and ready to go. But I'm also really happy about the fact that we have all these people who are excited that this journal continues to exist. The academic journal arena is one that constantly has feast and famine. Of course, you always have the big ones, often subsidized, usually in some way the product of institutions that have huge amounts of money and keep these around as lost leader prestige works to be able to maintain a foot in the door and an oar in the water. And that's great. But for something like game history, that is not just a fanzine, not just some sort of newsletter to let you know that Pac-Man once existed. It takes time, it takes effort to do it right, to have researched articles that people work on, are given some subsidy for, are edited professionally, are prepared professionally, and that's why ROMchip Journal does this fundraiser. So I was asked this time around to go with a more, well, one might say, feline theme, one of, cats, we shall say. I don't quite know where that comes from, but one of the nice things is I happen to work for a place that's got a little bit of everything. So I work for a place called the Internet Archive in San Francisco, where I am the free range archivist. And the Internet Archive has over 200 petabytes of data. Now, one of the things that I do as a presenter of material from the archive is I work in software. Now, people are uploading software all the time to the archive, old floppy disks, old CD-ROMs, pieces of zip files and collections of everything from FTP sites all the way through to web grabs of software. But some years ago, we realized that really wasn't enough. What you really wanted to have was you wanted to have people who were coming to the archive to try these things out, not have to go through all of the rigmarole of emulation and setting things up so that you could look at some of these old pieces of software, this art, this culture, the very thing that ROMchip covers in detail and gives us context and knowledge about. So to that end, we started putting emulation in the browser. So, you see the Wayback Machine and the Internet Archive on the front page here, but you can actually go ahead and you can play old software, old pieces of plastic software. You think of like Tiger Electronics, can also do arcade games. I'll go to some cat themes, but I want you to know we have a lot of stuff at the Internet Arcade. This is probably one of our most popular pieces. I always like seeing what's winning this week in terms of in games, and it looks like this week it's Liberator and Dominoes, but I've seen it be everything from Outrun to games from the early 1970s. It's whatever people want to do, right? So if you're beset upon by you want to see, oh, I don't know, let's go, which one could possibly be interesting in that way? I'm going to go with Pleiades. You are people of culture. So Pleiades is one of the early shoot 'em ups. It's basically Phoenix, which became the seminal work of this kind, which was scrolling space stories. And this is where they got a little bit too extra. So obviously we'd had Space Invaders, and that was great. But after Space Invaders, they came out with Galaxian, and Galaxian is Space Invaders with more motion by the aliens, but also a beautiful scrolling background. And they said, you know what people want? They want better graphics. So what they ended up doing was taking a game where you are playing up against space aliens, but you have this completely distracting background. So I'm a winner. I'm a victor. I'm gonna do well. But it is a don't hurt my stupid radar. So somebody worked really up. See those two little stars? This is it, man. This is what we had. This is what made Generation X happy. This is it. So again, Pleiades, play video games, forever. Now, obviously, oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, it's dark out. Look at all the mess they've made of my world. Look what they've done to my boy. All right, so clearly it's been a while. So that's 1981. So that's 40 years ago. But you can play it instantly in the browser. But to be honest, arcade games, I mean, they're a hat trick. These are extremely limited machines, but they actually have other games that are much more important, I think, in history. So, for example, here we have an unfinished prototype of Garfield on the Run. We were discussing this before, and I'm gonna try to be careful about this, but please, if you are photosensitive, I can't really vouch for whether or not flashing is gonna happen because flashing was everywhere in the 1980s and 1990s. I don't believe the Garfield game is gonna have flashing, but some of them might. So you'll hear me say photosensitive warning. Garfield on the Run from what is a good question. I don't know. Let's find out. This game was never released. Somebody put out the unfinished prototype, and as you can see, we're able to emulate. Well, I hope we're able to emulate. Uh-oh, Garfield, did you disappoint us again? Garfield, you jerk! What have you done? All right, is it gonna be like that? I'm not giving. There's no time. Wow, I guess I'm gonna have to explore. Why did it have the screenshot, but it didn't have the thing? I'm my heart. Let's see. Let's just make sure the Atari 2600 is doing okay. Let's do this one. This is Pac-Man. See, that's working great. So kind of famously, Pac-Man was terrible for the Atari 2600. It was rushed out. Somebody went in and said, "What if we took the time to do Pac-Man right?" So this was never released. This was a 2011 hack where they went ahead and tried to recreate Pac-Man and to the best of their ability include all of the arcade, you know, aspects of Pac-Man. Um, yeah, see, so yeah, see, so they were able to get Pac-Man running. It turns out if they had just been given the time, they could have done it. All right, we're talking about cats, right? We're talking about cats. So I was press ganged into this. So let's start out with something pretty simple. Um, there are, of course, a variety of games for many different consoles, many different uh, computers that are in some way cat based, right? Something involving cats. And one of the most obvious ones are um, Alley Cat, which is apparently everybody's favorite, except for mine. By Bill Williams, came out in Synsoft, 1984. Let's just sit back and enjoy that multimedia experience. This is the only thing on the stream right now. Yeah. All right. Do I want a joystick? No. My kitten, house cat, tomcat, or alley cat? I'm gonna go with house cat. Um, uh, let's see. Use the cursor keys, control the cat. Alt key presents special actions. Let's go. Well, how do I get? Okay, now I'm wondering. Oh, there it is. What am I supposed to do? By the way. Oh, here we are. Oh, Laine, I wish you could take the controls. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to what am I supposed to do with this? What is this game? Okay. This was very important to people. This was how we I'm getting destroyed. Maybe. So one of the things we talk about here, is doing, game research, right? And so as a result, we can switch over immediately to the Atari 800 version. So we can try this out and see what this does for us. I'm assuming it's loading. Oh God, I hope you're loading. If not, I've got 1,000 others of you. You're not special. A special program. I can come up with others. There it goes. Let's hear how their song is. Okay. You got 4 channels. You got to use them. There it is. So I'm kind of wondering, like, did Bill Williams also do this? Did he do it for the DOS machines, but then also did it for the Atari? Love them mousies. Uh-oh. Let me try it. See if there's a difference. I'm going to try another load from the Atari Smash Hits collection. We'll see if this one crashes when I press the start button. I believe in you, Copy Service Stuttgart. So one of the nice things of what's this all involved, as far as I'm concerned, is it would be so much more. Well, that's interesting. So does it crash when you press that button? Does it only want the joystick button? Let's find out. The point is I'm able to like reload instantly, do that experimentation. It's not a big deal to download it, get it into the emulator. You're able to switch between things. Don't worry if I got plenty of these things sitting on the back end for this, so don't worry. Again, this is a really great time while I'm doing this to donate. Okay, that's Tomcat, Alley Cat. I'm gonna let it run for 2 seconds just to see if it in fact has a weird emulator bug that like plays that background while it's loading the game. But that doesn't make any sense. It had everything loaded. That was the whole screen. It's everything it says on the tin. All right. If you're gonna be like that, we're gonna go to the old Again, photo sensitive warning. We're going to go to a Commodore 64 playing Nyan Cat. Don't worry, I could do this all day. How about Nyan Cat on the Nintendo? Perhaps you prefer the Game Boy. Ah, yes. Everything's better in gaming once they add metrics. So, we have a number of emulators, and one of them is the V86 emulator, and this is a boot sector Nyan Cat in the V86, which is one of the only things we ever got to work on the V86, and I'm not even sure if it's working. That's how great it is. I believe in you. Well, sometimes belief isn't enough. All right. Let's get to my other collections here. So obviously we have a wide variety of gaming games and pieces of work and everything else. And so let's say let's do a quick little simulation. I just want you to see this. Uh, so one of the things that the archive has is cassette tapes, and we used to load these video games off of cassette tapes. So cassette tapes took a while to load, and sure, we could speed it up. But what if we just kept it at the same speed as tapes? So what you're seeing here is what people used to have to deal with. We're actually emulating the experience of loading video games from a cassette tape, which was involved. And in fact, sometimes what they would do is they would actually put in a little program that loaded very quickly that kept you entertained while it was loading. But not so much this one. This is a 1990 game, which is frankly bonkers on several levels. One of them is that it's a Top Cat licensed property, which means it's a Hanna-Barbera Top Cat game being released in 1990. And when they were working on it, you can see here it's got the title and it's still doing the loading. The game isn't done loading. We just were given the little thing to distract us. In fact, that's what all that flashing is. That flashing is just there to make you think something's going fine. So this is the way of the world. I've got nothing for you, right? So this is, in fact, Top Cat starring in Beverly Hills. We have some info about it, from High Tech Software. It's running in something called the Vice emulator, which is one of the most complete emulators that we have. It's done by a team that has it ported to JavaScript and WebAssembly, which is how you're running it in the browser. If I press a button here, which I'm going to press against all advice, but if I press it, you can see all of these great settings. You can set how the printer's set up, how the video acts. So it's not just what you're working on, but you're actually able to change the nature, how you render the images, how the speed is. There is a setting for if you're loading from cassette, hyper speed it all the way to the end. But we're not going to do that. We're hardcore here. You can notice this has taken a while. Now imagine you've paid something like the equivalent of 30 or $40 for this game, and you have loaded it into your Commodore 64, and you are loading the game. This is your moment. This is when you are going to take part of a week's salary and you're going to actually play a game. And the game you're playing is Top Cat. You've already made an error here. You went to the store and you bought the Top Cat cassette, but you got to live with your choice. You thought it would be fun. Your dad thought it would be great for you. Your friends who bought it for you for your birthday, they thought you would enjoy it. But now you're stuck and you're waiting. You're waiting for what has to be the greatest game that's ever been made, Top Cat. But all that's in your mind is that you want to get a paper route because you can earn some money and buy a disk drive and walk away from this horror show of cassette loading. I'm happy about the fact that a whole new generation of people, some of you, some of the 27, anybody in here never seen a cassette load from software before today? If so, say hi in the chat. I want to see. I want to know that I'm ushering you in through history. You know, this is like being given a mind tour where we give you tuberculosis so that you know, can experience miner's lung because we want to have that experience. I want the dreadful boredom where you are reading an old magazine uh, like Compute or Gamers, you know, Gamers Choice and so on, because you've got nothing to do while your game is loading. I mean, look at this. It's actually run out of the memory that can hold the title screen. Here we are. Gotta let the music play. You know, Hanna-Barbera, one of either Hanna or Barbera were still around in 1990. So they literally went from 1950s animation and 1960s television animation to being around to watch their stuff done by the Commodore 64. Now, if I had to guess, this would be my guess, is that this group here, PAL Developments, made a generic game. They had a generic game of some sort, which we'll see what it is. And that generic game got shopped around until they found the property that would take what they're doing and make a game of it. That would be my assumption. I cannot imagine that they were handed the Top Cat property and then asked, it's your turn to add your creative spin to it. You've got to tell us what is going to be the Top Cat story. That's my theory. So let's see what we got. Oh God, it's loading more. That was just to give you the credits. That's amazing. That is amazing. That whole thing that they're loading. I mean, it must be what do you, I think it's keeping some segments in memory and now it's loading in the next part or the level data. Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine this is your afternoon on your Commodore 64? The name of the company is PAL Enhancements, so a part of me wants to think that it's located in Europe, but it might not be. Um, although if you're in Europe and you're excited by the Top Cat property, what's up with you? Top Cat, Top Cat. I just don't know. I just don't know why you would be doing this. This is truly hell on earth. We're only going to do one of these cassette loads, but we have thousands of them on the archive. All sorts of obscure, weird games for all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah, as it says, you know, you never can have too many remakes of the classic Top Cat origin story. God, what did Top Cat do? Okay, there is no way on God's green goddamn earth that this was the original plan for a Top Cat. This is so clearly, let me see, can I move? Let me quickly make sure. Drive, cartridge, machine. Is it the, oh, here we are. Joyport settings. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to figure out where it, oh, it probably, I'll bet. Yep. All right. So what? This is like some major Zelda action for a game about Top Cat. Now, clearly Top Cat, I'm just going to find out. I bet Top Cat can't get hit. Yep. His milk goes down. His milk content battery goes down. Okay. I'm now trying to open the door. I'm trying different, it's the, oh God, poor Top Cat. Can you go diagonal? Yes, you can go diagonally. Thank God. All right, so. I mean, I'm here for like, do they have a situation? What, is that hurting? Nope, it's not hurting. This is a lot. Oh God. Top Cat's being beset upon by a skateboarder. There's bouncing. This is nuts. Why is there so much? This is nuts. Okay. So clearly, this is where the archive really comes in, because I'm gonna switch over here, and there we go. So here's the Top Cat video game manual. Let's all figure out, like, what's nice here, and this is what a researcher needs, right? Is that if you're gonna have Top Cat, and you're gonna look at this thing, you're gonna need the manual. And it looks like that machine is not happy. Let's try this one. Okay, that's the Top Cat in Beverly Hills. Does it have the manual? I need the manual. I've got the cover. Cover looks pretty good. It's a pretty good cover. But see, you thought, Laine, when you brought me on, like, we're gonna cover Alley Cat. I love Alley Cat so much. And I'm like, yeah, wait a minute, hold back. What about Top Cat? And so I'm reading up here, and I'm wondering why. Oh, here we are. Oh wow, there's a whole hullabaloo here. There's a hullabaloo. Let's read this together. When an old lady leaves her worldly fortune to Benny the Ball because her only rightful heir, Amy, is missing, Top Cat and the rest of the gang end up in Beverly Hills in the luxury of Madame Vandergelt's mansion. Snurdly, the butler, is next in line if he can get rid of Benny. This is literally the plot of Aristocats. In between rides in the limo and having fun around the pool, will Top Cat and his gang save Benny and find the missing Amy? You play the part of Top Cat. In the first area, the alley, you must round up the existing members of the gang and find the bone that will distract Crusher the dog, allowing Top Cat to progress. Joystick only. It's necessary to solve puzzles. A key will open a gate. Some puzzles award Top Cat with bonus points, e.g., placing litter in dustbins. Throughout the game, energy, milk bottles, must be collected. Watch out for the sour ones. Likewise, fruit can be picked up for extra points. Be careful, it may be rotten. To drop an object. Oh my God. Enter object.
everybody. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where Jason went. That was, yeah, I'm just gonna chill here and vamp for a little bit and see if we can get Jason back, and I can just re-roll really slowly. But I'm so bummed that got cut short because I was really enjoying whatever was happening. So let me see, where are we? Like, listen, it's 11:54. Maybe this is a nice time for a bio break for you. that's a thing you need. You know, but let's just remind us all. Okay, I'm getting weird audio in the background. Why we are here, you guys are incredible. We are now at $3,918.95. I love it when people donate, you know, odd increments of change, you know, and that puts us 56% of the way toward our tier 1 goal, still 1 hour in. And so if you didn't get enough Jason Scott this morning, which I can agree that, you know, we all need more, right? He will be back at 10 p.m. this evening, right? So he will be the closer in what we like to call, or what I have named, Jason Scott's Sleepy Time Game of Wonders. He will show up to tuck us all in during the last hour of the show, bring the mood down, adjust our cortisol. The special price for that hour is an autographed 8x10 glossy headshot of Jason Scott, so not to be missed. And also, if you are, you know, if you get in a $20 donation, just in the next few minutes, you're still in the raffle amount for the 2 books that have been supplied to us. We're donating by the University of Chicago Press. We've got Undertale, Can a Game Give Hope, and Animal Crossing, Can a Game Take Care of Us? Donate $20 or more in the next couple of minutes. You'll be entered into a raffle for both of these books. And yeah, let me see. Let me check with. So I think we are gearing up. So let me just do my top of the hour pre-roll, right? It's like before we triage any more viewers. Okay. So Jason Scott will be back at 10 p.m. Please tune back in for that. See how much money we've raised. Also, music is a little loud. I didn't know there was music. Got it. Cody's on it. Awesome. And yeah. So who am I? Who the fuck am I? Why am I rambling at this screen? So I am Laine Nooney, and I am the managing editor at ROMchip, a journal of game histories, who is running this stream that all this fundraising is for. And we are an open access hybrid audience online venue for the publication of game history. And so what that means is, first, we develop, solicit, edit, and publish work across a range of formats, from traditional academic articles to oral histories, object lessons, and translations, dealing with everything from video games to board games, analog games, sports, and play. Secondly, we have no paywall, no advertising, no logins, no predatory publishing model. You don't have to pay anything to read the research published in ROMchip. And we are hybrid audience, meaning we think you shouldn't need to have like a PhD to be able to write for or interview for or read ROMchip, right? We're trying to create a big tent around game history. And so our tier 1 fundraising goal of $7,000, you can see the ticker counting down to that below. That pays for our basic operating costs, but we don't want to just hit that goal. We want to smash that goal. So our tier 2 goal is 8.5K and 10K. And what we do with that is we can pay more freelance writers to write for us. We can pay more translators to translate work in and out of basically any language, whatever it is, we will publish it. And what that helps us do is kind of circulate more knowledge about the global project that is game history. And we'll also be able to keep doing special research talks here on this Twitch stream, making it all possible for us. And so, right, so don't just hover over that donate link, click, drop us some funds, any amount helps. Let me check out with the back end here. Cody, are we ready to throw, or should I share? Okay. All right. Any hot questions in the chat about ROMchip? Anything you'd like to know? Questions for me? AMA, ask me anything. I'm in hour 1 of what is actually an endurance fest. So, if I was set up, if you want to check out the journal itself, you can go to romchip.org. That's ROMCHIP.org. and see what we've got cooking in this. We publish twice annually. We publish in July and December. And we have three areas of content. And we designed it this way very intentionally so that we could maximize the number of people who would feel like they could they could kind of like participate in the journal. So we have these academic articles. These are peer reviewed. They're usually kind of, if you saw them as like a Word document, they're anywhere from 20 to 30 pages long. They're kind of the, what we consider kind of the top peer publishing um, for in as academic currency, right? And so sometimes those can be, we work with authors to help make them as kind of widely readable as possible, but they're often very much intended for other specialists. However, we have these other sections like interviews where we do oral histories and interview transcripts. So I published a piece in the December issue, which is a extended interview with the former games journalist and now game narrative designer Lee Alexander. And we also had these contributions from Paolo Berlacher, or this interview with Paolo Berlacher, who is a Swiss game designer. We've been having folks from Europe kind of pass us interviews that are both in the original language they were conducted in, which is French, and then translated into English. And then we also have materials pieces, which are really designed as object lessons. These are kind of shorter essays, somewhere 3 to 5K word count, that are really kind of, the idea is to take a kind of small object in game history and open it up for the reader. Thank you for, shout outs to my sweater. So you can find this sweater at Vapor 95. That's where most of my, that is where most of my computer related clothing comes from. And it seems like we're having some technical difficulties. So what would you, let me see how to vamp here. Yeah, vapor95.com. There's a lot of really nice stuff that you will enjoy in there. And maybe, oh, wow, I wasn't prepared. So let's see again where we are in our fundraising. So we are at 3,918.95 cents. Keep giving money and I'll get less and less sweaty while I'm on this stream. Is there any chance we could get Jason back? Is that possible? Okay. All right. So let's see here. Do you want me to? All right. If you are just tuning in, I am Laine Nooney. I am the managing editor for ROMchip, a journal of game histories. We are gathered here today to do a fundraiser for that journal. And, ooh, is something good happening in the back end here? Oh, we have Jason. Do we have Jason? Okay. This sounds like we might be able to get some more kitty cats back, a little bit of Jason vapping. Can we throw him to the audience? Okay. Which stream am I most excited for? That is an unfair question, Kendra Albert, because maybe it's your stream that I'm most excited for. I am very excited to now have Jason here. Jason, what happened? Where'd you go? Where'd you disappear to?
This microphone is on the way out, and it's beautiful and it's working. It only looks like it's been dropped a few times, and yet the connection at the bottom is just a little weak. And I have to be very careful because I got so excited, I got so furious about the needless complication of Top Cat that I knocked the microphone, and then our connection system says, I don't see the microphone, therefore I will never talk to the microphone again. It gets very petulant and it never wants to talk to you again.
But where did your video go? You also disappeared.
Right. Well, I got out of I figured it was over as soon as you started talking about me. I thought that was it.
No,
not welcome.
I was just like, we gotta fill this air with something,
Yeah. I am now I am now desperately trying to find my broadcast link again, which I'll find in about 6 seconds, and I'll get our screen back up.
Amazing.
Um,
Amazing.
I
What
thought
did
I
you
was
do? What did you do in the meantime? Where have
I
you
stri
been?
I stripped completely nude and was getting ready to go to the bathroom and have a nice long soak, and then discovered that, in fact, I had to be here, so I came running back, threw everything back on perfectly without any problem whatsoever, and then here we are.
Amazing. All
Yeah,
right.
I don't know, I mean, you gotta be fast in this business.
Yeah, in this open access journal fundraising biz, you
Yeah,
really gotta keep it on your
gotta be
toes.
fast. So
Um,
I'm gonna continue the Top Cat,
I love
uh
that. I think everyone was enjoying that.
I think Top Cat's got some good Top Cat's got something about him. I
Um,
guess
someone named Mercapants, who I've definitely never heard of, wants to know more about your jacket.
oh, this beautiful jacket was provided to me by Anton of Melbourne. When on my recent trip to Australia to give a talk, I was, uh, uh, gifted enough to go back to one of these wonderful, beautiful places I visited the last time I was in Melbourne when I had had a heart attack. And I, got treated there, and I was coming back in a triumph, and I said, "Well, let's celebrate life." And what better way to celebrate life than with a beautiful jacket? So I got a beautiful embroidered jacket, and it was a lovely place. And yeah, so
You know,
I, uh-huh.
oh, sorry, I was gonna say, you know what I forgot to do when I welcomed you? I forgot to talk about our, sponsor who's not really a sponsor of today's show. Bulls, maker of guarana. Is that how you pronounce it? Energy drinks.
You go with
Um,
Garna, it's fine.
Guarana. Yeah. So last year, the lore heads for ROMchip will know that actually I did get the Balls company to mail me some bottles for us to have on stream, and they mailed me 12, and I drank like 2, and I was like, any more than that, and I will die. And so I was like, what am I going to do with 12? I was like, I will just let them age like a fine wine in my office for future fundraisers. So I thought it might be a nice time to crack this open, really get the stream going, right?
Yep.
While
What do you call it? Garna, oh, sorry, Balls was
balls.
this really fascinating. First of all, by the way, we're switching to the cracked, trained version of Top Cat because I just don't have any time for this. We're not gonna reload the game the old way. We're gonna
This
boom.
is the cherry cola. The Shaolin Monastery.
And
Is
it's
this up on screen? Can folks see this?
no, they
I'm not.
can't see this.
Got it. Got it. Then get rid of me and yeah, cracking up actually a room temperature balls. Get me out of here. Let Jason play Top Cat at the Shaolin Monastery.
Nice. I'm what? The song? Is the demo song Invisible Touch? I mean, could be. Let's reload it and let's see. I look, I'm all for finding out. So the question is this demo actually in fact a ripoff of the song Has to Be an Invisible Touch? Um, so one of the nice things about this, the way that it works with the software at the archive, is we're able to get all these different versions, including pirated, cracked versions that were distributed. And so you can try different things. All right, let's hear if we hear that. I don't know where you heard that, but let's hear. What do you think?
I think it's Stranger Like Me.
I mean,
It's still Phil Collins.
so you're convinced this is a Phil Collins song?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a Phil Collins song.
You think this is a Phil Collins song? All right. That's fine. Nobody knows. I'm having a talk with the tech behind stage because they are convinced that this is a Phil Collins song remixed by a demo group in 1991. So nobody call the Temple of Darkness. They're down right now. Maybe they'll be back later. Don't call them back. Nice. All right. So once again, we're playing Top Cat Beverly Hills. It's got everything you don't want in a game about a Hanna-Barbera character. Imagine you're playing a game where you are a Jesus. So what? There's two crack screens? Guys, don't be first of all, it's not that great a game. Second of all, don't be a little greedy here. Wow. Do I want infinite time? Yes. Yes, infinite energy. All right, bring it on. Yep. Can I fire? What's the joystick button? So is one of... So the question here is, can I pick up this fruit? I think that's a reasonable question. There it is. I found it. I found out how to pick up the fruit. Okay, this game's screwed. I own it now. All right, you got to go around collecting things. Can I open this gate? Nope. So I got to look around for things. All right. There's no way in God's green earth that this thing was designed. Jesus, look at all this. This was not designed for this. I've got a banana peel now. I just refuse to believe that this is a legitimate, ouch, Top Cat game. Pick up this. Yeah, see how I'm picking up items? Excuse me, there is no way that I am getting a legitimate, Top Cat vibe from this. This feels like a rebranded game. Oh my god, did you see that? That 2D gate aspect? And go over here. Look, guys, it's going to take me all day to get into the full depths of Top Cat. I'm going to beat this game. I'm going to come back with a report tonight. I'll be back at the late evening to close this thing down. You're going to see all these amazing guests before then. Top Cat and I, it's a vendetta now. We're going to figure this out. So I'm going to get out of the way, and I'm going to let the next guest have an appropriate amount of time. So again, everybody, donate to ROMchip. Laine, good luck.
All right. Thank you, Jason, the most incredible pitch hitter we could ever have. And God bless you, Top Cat. We'll see you later. So we are currently at, just a quick little recap, we're currently at 3,918 and 95 cents. That puts us about 56% of the way to our tier 1 goal. And we